What's up? What's up? What's up? Let's talk about these NBA playoff losses and losers in the playoffs, which was a wild day and a lot of Easter eggs. Even though Easter was a week ago, there was a lot of eggs going down. We're going to talk about the teams that all lost in the usual postseason, the lineup. And the losers were the Pistons, the Lakers, the Magic, and the last one was the Bucks. So let's start in Detroit. Controversial ending. Josh Hart to get the foul and not the foul. I'm gonna tell people this. There's a few things that work. You're not gonna get those calls in the playoffs. There's always bad calls on both sides. So if you've got a no team that has no reputation, you're not gonna get that call. Even though that was blatant, that's not why Detroit lost that game. Detroit just can't close out. That's the bottom line. Very winnable. But you had chances in that game. Cat came up. That's the difference in this series. He hit two big shots, had two big games back to back. That's the difference. You blew the first game, you went cold. You nearly blew the second game, but you had enough. You came back home, and I think the Pistons played more not to lose than to win, and it showed. It showed inexperience. It's coaching, you know. But to be honest with you, Detroit had another legit second scorer. Cade Cunningham a triple double. Cade, unfortunately, is balling, but he doesn't have much to show for it as far as what he's got around him, and that's really the difference. Brunson came up before he got hurt. People are trying to say they're trying to hurt him. They probably are. The refs are letting some things go. It's the first round, so you're not going to get those kind of plays and calls. But that's not why the series is what it is. There's not a lot separating these teams, but there's always like one player, one person that's the difference. That's what Detroit doesn't have. Believe me, if Cade Cunningham gets a supporting cast, at least another scorer. Because like I said right now, they're one score away from winning this series. This series could easily be 3-1 Indiana. Heck, while you jiving, it could have been 4-0. It could be 3-0 Detroit. Could have been 4-0 Detroit, but they're one play away. The reason why I mentioned Indiana is that's who they kind of remind me of this year. They just don't have that other option. That's the only thing that's hurt them. The Knicks are going to skate by. The Knicks ain't nothing to write home about, though. They'll be done in the second round, but they got through this one, so this is kind of like their run right here. But it's a very even flow. Then we get to the Lakers and the Timberwolves. Old JJ Redick crying about the refs. LeBron James crying about the refs. You fouled. You got 18 free throws and a very, very, very should have been a call when you leg whipped Ant Edwards. Because if he doesn't come back and he saw that fan reaction, that might be very controversial. But at this stage, this is what you got left in the tank. Because you are getting losing. Do you know 108 to 69 in all fourth quarters? That's the difference in the series. You can't close. You can't close. So all these people talk about Lakers in 5 and all this other mess, they can't close. They can't close. Shannon Sharp had it right, but look, it's gonna go the other way. They can't close. The fact is that Ant had his way on the perimeter. He danced and circled inside. And I'm gonna tell you two things that are hurting the Lakers. Austin Reeves has been the real big disappointment. Third so-called option, the third wonder, he ain't really been there. 17 points, which ain't bad. But for a guy that was ballyhooed and getting all this love and all this other stuff, he really hasn't delivered when it counts. So they're missing that. They're missing productivity there, and it's showing. Luka did good stat-wise. He came back from his tummy game, even though the dude need to put down the cheeseburgers and all that pepperoni pizza and to take care of himself. Because if I'm him, I'm trying to go get a six-pack and not a six-pack. See, he get his six-packs in the wrong section. If you want to prove Nico Harrison, Dallas Mavericks wrong, but it's like Minnesota been watching a whole year. They were venting to play you, and they about to bust your bubble. And as far as LeBron James, well, his stats are nice, and he did have a nice block in the fourth quarter and everything, but he's winded. He is 40 years old, And he scored 27 points through 3 quarters, and he scored as many points as I did in the fourth quarter, which was, like I said, the Easter egg. He was not big time. And the problem is they're missing Anthony Davis. They don't have easy scoring, and they don't have another piece to make that. So that's one of the reasons why they had the problems they got. They're missing that. I think if they had an AD with the way Rudy Gobert is getting exposed, this is a different series. But JJ Ridiculous, who thinks he's some, they've been hyping him up as a second coming Pat Riley and guru, is getting out coached. His rotations are bad. They're not getting enough out of Austin Reeves, and there you got a lot of donuts in that lineup. And they're going against a team that's youthful, can beat them on the perimeter, can get in the glass, and they can't stop them. And when you're giving up those kind of numbers, when you're losing close, you're getting blowed out on that, you're not fit to be known. So all this hype about them was a bunch of jive. Then we go to the Celtics and the Magic. I think Pablo's bad and all that. Wagner's France is good, but they won their token game. They got their token game in. Gentleman sweep. Jason Tatum came out with a vengeance, and Jaylen Brown was balling. Porzingis. Boston is just a better team. They execute on so many levels. They have better range. They have, Orlando. It's kind of like if you go Pablo and Wagner with Cade Cunningham, you might have a scary team. Somewhere between Orlando and Detroit, you might have something there. But right now, it's growing pains. Also, Orlando's pace is too slow, and they're just not really cut out to go against Boston at this stage. They can play with them. It's kind of like a boxer who can go to a round with you, but you know who's going to win the fight 12 times out of 12. Maybe you get one, but they can play, but they don't have a finish. And that's the basic line with Orlando. Just don't have any depth to match up against that Boston team, because Boston can beat them in so many ways. And this series is, it's going the way you pretty much expected. But Orlando is a feisty young team, but they need to go and get something else to get something in action, and the offense is not there. And then the last game, Milwaukee, Indiana. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Giannis been playing his heart out, but Damian Lillard got hurt. Dame shouldn't have came back, And Charles Barkley said they couldn't win without him. They couldn't win if he had played. This is not a good series for them. The Pacers have too much going on the perimeter, too much going on the inside. They've got a better, higher volume of scoring attack. They have a better balanced attack. Brook Lopez was throwing up donuts. I've been a lot of donuts. Now, Portis Jr. and Portis were doing good for with Giannis, but they can't play no defense. They don't get no interior help. Kyle Kuzma, he may as well still be in Washington mode, because he's been a disaster. You got rid of Chris Middleton for him, and they was hyping that was going to be something. You would think once you got out of that D.C. jail that you'd come over to Milwaukee and be balling out, but it ain't there. Let me tell you something. Let this happen another year or two more, Giannis is going to want out. And Doc Rivers, you know what time it is with Doc. You know him in the postseason. You know how it usually ends. So there you have it. The losers on Sunday were the Pistons, the Lakers, the Magic, and the Bucks. And I do think the first round is going on too long, because these teams pretty much should be done, to be honest with you. I feel more of all those four teams. I feel more for the Pistons, because those couple of games were iffy-ish. They're the ones who pretty much everyone talk about the rest or a couple of things. But even saying that, they're not there yet. They need another piece that can score. They need somebody that can, work with Cade and be a threat. That's the problem that they're facing. But other than that, it's about par for the course. Let me know what you think. Please hit like, subscribe, open thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another hit. The membership. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Stay woke. Stay free. I'm out. Peace.